What's going on, silencers, and welcome back to Vintage Story. We are going to jump right into the goodness and pick up kind of where we left off yesterday, because I finished the stream yesterday and I was like, you know what, I'm going to get a ton of shit done. And then I fell asleep. I fell asleep at my desk, and then I woke up in my bed this morning. So at some point in the middle of the night, I moved to my bed. Yeah, it is what it is. But if you enjoyed the content, you know exactly what to do. Thank you very much to my patrons for your ever-present love and support. And without any further ado, and the loading screen, we'll get right into it. I realize tonight's stream is a little later than normal. Just because I didn't plan well. I also really didn't plan on streaming tonight. But I really want to play, and why the hell not? So, I'm going to chow down on my spaghetti and cheese. It's macaroni and cheese, but using my ex-wife's spaghetti sauce. So, it's good stuff. But, yeah, you guys don't really need to watch me eat. I know that makes some people uncomfortable. So, today was certainly an interesting day as far as fucking everything is concerned. So I finished up the class that I was working on at school, got all my welding projects done, and finished the bonus project that we had as well, which was Open Root, V-Groove, 1G and 3G. And tomorrow I'll start in on the MIG class again, or the advanced MIG class, 3G and 4G out of position MIG, which I already do that at work, so I'm kind of excited to do it on heavier gauge material and whatnot. If nothing else, it'll be a nice change of pace. I've missed doing MIG in class because we use really heavy gauge wire, and we use heavy gauge filler, and yeah, you can weld on pretty hefty stuff. MIG is not structural, so you can't weld on. You couldn't like weld a bridge together or a building together with MIG. You could with flux core, which is kind of like stick and MIG had a baby. Kind of an ugly baby, depending on the flux core you use. Self shield is the nastiest shit you'll ever use in your life. It's kind of like spraying coal and sandstone into a weld. I mean, it comes out structurally sound. It fuses really well, but it looks terrible and it smells worse. But then dual shield comes out looking like liquid gold if you do it right. A lot of people think they do it right, and they really don't. I'm pretty okay with it, I guess, but still need some more practice. We have another one of those classes coming up, and then we start in stainless in like a month. So lots of the pretty blues and purples and golds and whatnot. And yeah, so how's everybody else's night going so far? Oh, also, I had a chance to pop into the stream of one of my viewers, Chara. Their stream, I caught him on Twitch because I couldn't figure it out on YouTube because I'm an idiot. But they're also playing Vintage Story, and they're in much earlier stages than I am, with, I would say, closer to vanilla settings. They do have some mods, but much closer to vanilla than I am, considering I think I have like 105 mods right now. So if you're interested, it's charatox_TTV, I believe, over on Twitch. And also, they have a YouTube channel. And one other place that I don't recall, I don't recall what platform it was, but they stream on all 3 of the different streaming platforms, and it's kind of nice to see somebody else play it, especially, granted, they're in early game, like really early game, just got their first copper tool kind of thing, but they have a different play style, different priorities and whatnot, so that's kind of it's nice to see the way somebody else would approach the game, because I only know how my brain works, my little autistic brain. Emphasis on the little. But yeah, I now have plans. I have plans for what I want to do with the layout of the base, sort of. I think I want to move the entrance from the decorated hallway that we have. I want to turn that into the armory. I think I want to seal off that from the outside, turn it into an armory, and then we'll put the entrance right under our apartment, basically. We'll make it a little more big, a little more grandiose. I think that'll be kind of pretty. Can't wait until the next update comes out for this, because it'll have a continuation of the story. We'll actually get more of the lore out of it. I have some of the lore lined up, and I can go over that a little later, because once you pick up the lore, it's in your journal. And we can go over that and piece together the story before we go do the dungeon. Hello, Alita. Well, I appreciate you stopping by before bed. I'm insane. So, I'm just streaming instead of sleeping. But I have enough caffeine, soda, and macaroni to get me through at least an hour or two. Maybe. I don't know. I'm super exhausted. Alita, you said you work from home, right? And you've done so for a couple of years. Is that right? And you'll have to forgive me if that was somebody else. I think there was like 8 people in the chat that night when we were talking about it. For over a dozen years, Jesus. That begs the question, what on earth have you been doing from home for like a dozen years? Is it customer service, or you own your own business, or what kind of stuff? Web engineer, Jesus. Well, you are far superior to me in intellect, if that's the case. I remember learning HTML in middle school, and then building my own website, and still to this day, I have no idea how the hell I did that. Oh, app developer. I like it. Yeah, you're definitely smarter than me. I was trying to get my master's in information system. That was one of the degrees that I was going for, but it didn't end up really panning out. because turns out I just didn't want to do that. I know that's eloquent. I just decided not to. That was when I decided to study to become pre-med. All right. Why'd you freeze on me? Oh, that's right, because it's negative 14 degrees centigrade outside. Okay. Wanted to move the entrance. So let's figure out where that's going to be. No, I'm certainly not smarter, just a good problem solver and Googler. Well, you know, honestly, when it comes to that whole problem solving side of things, knowing where to look makes you just as intelligent as somebody who has memorized all of the solutions. I remember having a conversation with somebody. Hello, Surfing. I remember having a conversation with somebody, and that was my final point on the topic, was knowing what questions to ask and knowing what you don't know makes you as smart, if not smarter, than the person who has memorized all of the problems and the solutions for them. Because the application of the knowledge is what makes you intelligent. Intelligence by itself is bullshit. It's pointless. Knowledge by itself is bullshit, superfluous. But knowing what to do with knowledge makes for intelligence. Personally, that's how I feel about it. But, all right, let's get some more larch really quick. At least I hope I have some more. It's the middle of the winter, so we're not actually getting more wood right now. So, yeah. We need more. Do we have our saw on us? We do not have our saw on us. Where is it? Is it tin, bronze, iron? Is it the tin, bronze one? Yeah, it's this one we've been using. I have to say, I very much enjoy the fact that when you guys hop into chat, you're interacting with each other. Like, that's kind of a new one for me. Partially because I didn't live stream, but hello, Verdani Man. But partially because I'm just autistically antisocial. And, well, it shows. Okay, complex square larch. That's birch. Okay, so this is going to be our armory. So we're going to seal this off. Hello, that's skyboxes. Interesting. I never noticed that it had multicolored stars. That's cool. Yeah, so we're going to seal this off. This is going to become the armory. Do something with these alcoves. Keep all the design elements, but just seal it off. Maybe put kind of a cool wall up with some etchings. I think that'd be kind of cool. Now we need to find another entrance. I can also claim some form of antisocialness. I only interact when it involves games. That's perfectly fair. Perfectly valid point. Find a point of common interest, then just stick to it. I mean, ironically, the people I've gotten along with most in this world are the people who hate people as much as I do. So, okay. So, this good entrance. Better entrance would be over this direction. And where are those horses located? Right. There we go. There's a lot of them. Oh, that's right. We're on the surface. And it's 3 a.m. Let me sleep just a few hours and we'll go from there. My day is interesting. Got locked out of my hospital system and got back into 1,000 requests. Good God. Yeah, that's part of the reason I didn't finish any of my medical stuff. Aside from the fact that I just really don't like people. I know. I'm an evil person. I'm fine with that. Okay. Let's go this way. You did. Ow, you cow. Okay. So, of course, it's a strong gale force wind. We've got the horses and the donkeys, but that's right beneath our entrance, so our staircase is right back here. I'm not a huge people person unless I have to be, or I find connections with those I interact with. I also hate myself, perhaps. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure my dislike of people stems from the fact that at one point I considered myself, you know, human and people, and I don't like me either. So that's a totally valid point. Should we do our entrance like way over here? Because then it would give us closer access to this tunnel and more central access as far as like building the town. I think that would be a pretty fair estimate. So if we dig back here, we'll go right here. It'll eventually be 5 tall, I believe. Probably by 5 wide. Hold on. Portcullis. 5 by 5 portcullis. Portcullis part. Iron ingot, board pine. Holy shit, those are expensive. Can't really argue with it, though. I think that is the extent of it, though. Finally getting somewhere with the Rustbound mod. It's just really tedious. I think everything about this game is tedious. It takes a special kind of person to just fall in love with and dive into these games. So you just might have one of those personalities where you can just, you've fallen in love with it, so you make it worth it. Maybe we'll do, did we do 4 high or 5 high over here? We did 5 high. Why don't we do 4 high over here? Since it's a perfect 5 wide, we'll do 4 high, 5 wide. Yeah. So it'll kind of match the rest of the base. That way we don't have some kind of funky odd transition. So 4 high will eventually be 5 wide. Well, you know, monotony can be nice. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass. Sometimes it's cathartic. So, and Darius with the wild comment, as always. Much appreciated. Welcome. Wonder if there's a way to keep the snow from showing up on my paths. Not that it really matters all that much. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure how far back we have to dig, but I'm gonna go with like probably 15 blocks, and then now I have the Frog Rock song in my head. Okay, hold up. Let's go here. Collecting, mining. I want to do this tunnel digger. As soon as we get just a few more points. But yeah, let's switch over. This is much faster. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, more zinc ore, 15. This inn is full. You're oh so optimistic. Guess that answers how old everyone is. Yes, yes. But some of us are old beyond our years. Oh, hey. I just got a level up in mining. So what the hell? Stone break. Oh, I have to have one of these up to stone cutter. Incompatible with gemstone miner tier 3, whatever. Yeah, so regrettably, I'm a millennial. I don't resonate with the millennials. I'm actually probably closer to a boomer than anything. I was raised by my mother, who is a Gen X, and my grandparents, who were both boomers. And I'm old. Or at least I'm told that I'm old. Okay, wow, that bloom is something else. So because we have all of these backpacks, they actually give us, because we added the lantern to them, I naturally have the lantern on all the time. I don't have to carry it around anymore. It's just there, which is awesome. But with the cat eye ability that I have, it's really, really bright. Oh yeah. No, that's totally fine. I was unexpected, so I was a little earlier than intended. Having an old soul does not preclude you from connecting to people your age. I know it doesn't preclude me. People my age are what preclude me from connecting with people my age. Good God, that's bright. And wow. And here I was thinking that we had dug just a little not far enough. There's home. We were only 2 blocks back from where we'd started. So maybe we'll build out to like this, and we'll put something up top like a guard tower kind of thing. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, we're kind of going to have to do that. Yep, same here. Nearly a Gen Z. Well, as long as I don't have any Gen Alpha in the chat right now. I don't have anything against Gen Alpha, but recently I've had to deal with a lot of them, and quite frankly, I'd rather put them in the ground. I actually work with a Gen Alpha, and she drives me absolutely apeshit. Oh no, she's not Gen Alpha. She claims to be Gen Alpha, but she is she's a Gen Z, I guess. She doesn't know how to shut up. And that would be fine if she had anything interesting to say. The current generation of kids are either Gen Alpha or Gen Omega. I can't remember. I can't remember because like right after I realized that I was being lumped in with all the millennials, I was like, yeah, no, this sucks. Like, I don't really care about the gens anymore. I always have to Google it. And then I just stopped caring. It is ridiculously bright. Okay. So we've got this. Now we get to play the fun game of where can I stick a lantern? Yeah, and then all of a sudden, over 30 years, there's all these different generations. Yep, that's exactly the issue. Also, when it comes to the generations, everybody's like, we need a label. We want to be special. And I'm pretty sure I can just lump all of the new generations into, you're all snowflakes. If I pee on you, you'll disappear. Hello, catty cat. Yeah, right? Read my last two messages. Literally before World War I, generation meant familia generation, and that's it. I'm a millennial too, but I was nearly Gen Z. Literally before World War I, generation meant familiar generations, and that's it. Those are the two messages I see in Darius. I'll be AFK doing some chores, by the way, but still here. Well, welcome. I hope it's everything you want and more. Honestly, we're just keeping it chill. Okay, so we got all the important stuff lit up, except we're gonna slap down one of those there. Repost. Repost what? Okay, let's get this widened out. Oh, yeah, I can turn off those highlights. Don't need to know where the enemies are going to be. They're going to be all of them in business here in a minute. Although it is noon and I have adjusted the day and night cycles, so we get 36 minutes of daylight and 12 minutes of darkness. still the same 48-minute cycle. I just adjusted it a little bit. Almost guarantee I have more in common with Gen X than a millennial jock. Yeah, that's... Yeah. The popping and breaking noises sound like you're popping bubble wrap. I got confused for a bit. Yeah, it's part of the reason that I enjoy this game is because the sound design is just really well done. But you're not wrong, it does sound like bubble wrap. Interest to find people for more than age ever will. Absolutely. I can get along with just about anybody. I can find something to talk to just about anybody about. Yes, it's cathartic. It means that I'm putting things in my inventory, which it stresses me out when there is no sound anymore. I'm like, no, I can't put more in my inventory. Then I start weighing my options. Do I drop some things? Do I create storages really quick? I totally agree, Catty Cat, that... Oh no, see? The ASMR stopped. No! Run back. Oh, where'd it go? There we go. Oh no, no. We will fix that. We will get back what we need. Get the feel-good noises going again and everything. Hold, please. I'm gonna kick that back out, I think. Okay, we good. Having 3 health hammers running concurrently, though, is a migraine in the making. I have adjustments for the health hammers, specifically for the sounds and their ability to manufacture things. So we just haven't quite gotten into windmills and steam power yet. Alrighty then. Okay. Just for the sake of getting this floored appropriately, we're gonna dig this out. We'll worry about... Yeah, it does look like marble. That's why I was confused for a second. I was like, wait a second, is that limestone or marble? No, it's just my cat eye ability. It's a paxel. It's not a shovel. It's the paxel mod. So it's a pickaxe, axe, and shovel all in one. It's slower than any tool of its tier, but and no, unfortunately, I do not. Oh, hey Chara. I do not have the ability to turn off the cat eye thing, so that's part of my survival trait. Survival cat eyes. We have both tiers of it. I'm strongly considering unlearning one of them. But yeah, the Paxel's an old Minecraft mod. It was like a super multi-tool back in the Minecraft days, and they added it to this. And so it's slower and weaker than anything in its tier. Like it's a tier 3, so it'll dig tier 3 stuff, but it won't dig stone as fast as a pickaxe or dirt as fast as a shovel. But it saved some of our inventory when we were starting out, so I've been using it. It also saved me from using my iron tools right now. I know that there are a couple of multi-tools in real life, like survival multi-tools that kind of look like a Paxel. I know that there's a survival shovel that doubles as a woodcutter's axe. So, well, that's fair. Having a pickaxe, shovel, hoe combo rather than having the axe, that actually makes a lot of sense. Okay. I think I remember seeing a Paxel mod for TOBG way back in the day. Totally forgot about it until now. No, I mean there's another thing that could turn the axle section. Oh, the clutch thing you're talking about, or not the clutch, transmission. No, I think it's the clutch. Clutch, mechanical power part. Yeah, that's the one where you can engage and disengage when you're not using the Nandake, the Helve hammers. Ooh, nope. Give me that. All right. Let's see about making a portcullis. Someone told me that a friend of theirs uses a pickaxe for everything, mining dirt, stone, fighting mobs. Oh, the other block game. Sorry. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? TOBG. That's creative. Why the hell would you use a pickaxe for everything? Sorry. I know I'm just catching up on that because I'm slow, but portcullis. We want it to be 5 wide by 4 tall. So it's 2, 4, 5, 6 of those. And those are 2 iron ingots, 2 boards, and a hammer. So 2 boards, 2 iron ingots, hammer. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then more boards, 5, 6. And then hammer up top. Hopefully this is the right shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 by 4 would be width by height. Us two. Hold on. What? Was your day good? Like I talked to you, didn't know it was going to happen next at work. Oh yeah. So they hired a new guy at work. Good guy. Hard worker, whatnot. But it was coming down to me training him and whatnot. So I actually really like that. How the hell do I close it? Like that. Boom. Portcullis installed. Now we just need to make it sexy. Yeah, so they hired that new guy at work, and they set him up at my station where I was welding yesterday, which if I was welding there today, I would have been able to just pop up the stream and keep it going. And because I'm kind of tucked away in the corner I always joke around that I'm the mean old autistic guy at work, so they just shove me in the corner, but that's my table. Kurazars. Yeah, I know Kurazar. Yeah. I am autistic as well. Like as Catty Cat was saying, I'm autistic. I've been diagnosed level 1 ASD. I can't remember exactly what it's. Basically, it's high functioning and it's adult autism. So I already have all of my masking shit and stuff in place, and got it. The other block game. Yeah, we can totally use that here too. That's totally fine. And Chara, the Portacoli is from the medieval expansion mod, which only adds a couple of blocks, a few designs, and cows. It adds cows. Yes, I have ADHD as well. Autistic. Oh, yeah. I take pills for ADHD, and yeah. Want to know why they switched from Asperger's to high functioning? Yes. So Asperger's, the reason that they switched from Asperger's was because Dr. Asperger was a Nazi. And it turns out that, we have a lot in common with the Nazis. I mean, we're both obsessed with trains. But, and for anybody who didn't get that joke, we call it a slow burn. But yeah, they switched from it because Dr. Asperger was a Nazi. Yes, they add cows. Specifically oryx. The original bloodline of they called oxen, oryx, medieval oxen. And you can milk them and breed them and all that stuff. Fully functional, part of the medieval expansion mod. Highly recommend it. So let's just double check. I just want to make sure that we've got our spawns covered. Oh, hello. We did not have our spawns covered. It's a good thing we checked. We'll put one right here. Now we have our spawns covered. So, nothing to worry about there. And I'm level 2-3, which means very high support needs. I have Nerve and Brave damage 2, so that contributed to the assigned need level. Well, that makes sense. My little brother has high functioning. He was originally diagnosed with Asperger's and then switched to high functioning and pissed him off. How the fuck do you toggle that? What, the highlights? This is actually a mod. This is called the Spawn Highlights mod. Super easy to install like all the other mods, and it's Control-L. Control-L will show you all of the spawnable areas. If it's green, monsters cannot spawn there. If it's red, monsters can spawn there. If it's gray, it means that there are no spawn rules. So nothing will spawn there ever. So like if you put down a tool or something, it's just a normal color. Or like these are technically the door blocks, so they have a no spawn area. And the chicken coops aren't full blocks, so they don't have the full spawn area and whatnot. So yeah, Control-L, Spawn Highlights mod. Highly recommend. For temporal storms, so I have an advanced spawning mod for the drifters that makes them spawn ridiculously high underground, not as high on the surface, and that one has a switch on it to turn off extra spawning for temporal storms or to turn off spawning on non-natural blocks. It doesn't stop them from spawning, and they can spawn anywhere in temporal storms that has a green or a red space. The gray ones will never spawn anything ever, no matter what. So if you really wanted to spawn proof your entire base from temporal storms, you'd put rocks on every spawnable surface, because the enemies can't spawn on top of the little pebble piles. So you would have that option as well. Let's see, we've got that there. Then they don't like saying high or low functioning either, because people with level 1 autism have a tough time functioning. So now it means needs levels. That makes sense. I was just diagnosed level 1, like super high functioning. Like I said, because I was diagnosed in adulthood, after all of my children were diagnosed, I already had a lot of my masking in place and whatnot, to the point where when I went in to get diagnosed, they actually had to ask me to stop doing certain things that were obvious masks to them, so that they could get an accurate read on me. But no, you're absolutely fine info dumping. We are a community of learners and thinkers, so this is the place to info dump. And everybody is super nice and it's super safe, and thank you so much. Oh. Sorry, I read that out loud before did I see the last comment? Last comment of what? Fun fact, you want to know why it's switched from Asperger's to high functioning? That one? I'm learning so much here. You'll have to forgive me if I read your messages out loud and then I giggle to myself. It's because I didn't realize how much the shorthand I actually knew. Or I think I'm getting right. If I'm getting it like completely wrong, I expect you guys to tell me, but the hell was I doing? Walnut. Oh, no. Okay, and open that up. Let's grab a couple of, and by couple, I apparently mean all of it. Get the walls finished. And now that we have another entrance, we can actually seal off the armory as well. Do we want to use the ashlar blocks, or do we want to use something else? Wasn't really planning on doing this today, so I mean the extra entrance was kind of on my docket for this evening, but I didn't really have any plans past that. I'm brand new to shorthand as well. Oh, that's totally fine. Unfortunately, it makes my boss laugh his ass off when I hand him like sheet metal, because I'm fluent in Japanese. So I'll write all of my measurements and stuff in Japanese with like top and bottom and reverse and back and mirror and all those symbols, all the kanji. I'll write those down because it's faster for me, at least, to just write those symbols out really quick. And I can spot them from a distance. I don't have to get up on them and see bad handwriting or whatnot. I can look and go, oh, that says mirror 4 inches. And so it's easier for me to spot. Well, I'll hand my boss like one of my note sheets, because I'll just grab a piece of sheet metal and write on it in Sharpie, and then polish it off when I'm done. So I'll have these sheets of steel all over my table that just have Japanese written all over them. And he's like, should I be concerned? And I'm like, why? And he's like, you aren't going to invade us. And I'm like, how old are you? But yeah, I also work in a weld shop. So as far as political correctness goes, we have none of it at all. I think we'll use the ashlar block. Yeah, so my boss gives me shit constantly. He's like, can you design this? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he's like, can you design it in English? And I'm like, yeah, why are you kneecapping me here? So I'll write it all in Japanese and then I'll write the translation. He's like, is it just hard for you to do English? And I'm like, it's not hard. I'm really good at English. I'm just better at Japanese, ironically. Should I do some kind of funky design? Or construction, military, and service industry all have no filter. That is very true. Literally, so this will probably offend somebody. I'm sure it will. But in June, I arrived to work to find a giant welded dong attached to a rainbow umbrella welded to my table just to celebrate. And all right, you guys sleep well and whatnot. And I was like I walked in, I just giggled at it, and then I cut it off the table and I welded it to my boss's table. Actually, I welded it to the other guy's table, but my boss thought it was funny. And that's how that entire month went. We were constantly just giving each other shit. And I don't have any ill will towards anybody for any reason. Unless you're a dick, then you deserve it. I don't care what your orientation or pronouns are. Like, you're a dick, I'm going to call you a dick. But then I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, I would have been sent to HR immediately if I had laughed at that joke at other jobs that I've worked. But no, it's just my coworkers just being service or blue collar. All right. So this is going to be our armory. So we'll do something amazing in here later. Right now, we'll just leave it as is. Although I wouldn't mind putting a couple of lanterns up. Though the torches are kind of a nice aesthetic. We'll leave the torches for now. We can leave those doors open. So we've got all that. We have the walnut. This. And then we wanted to do, was it not that? Grab my saw. Saw. Oh, you're all good. You do not need to apologize. This is probably one of the most chill groups and streams that you'll ever come across. As long as everybody is treating everybody with respect, I don't have a problem with what's being talked about. It is not marked adult only, but my channel pretty much is, so like, let her rip, enjoy. And no worries if you gotta step away. Or one of the wonderful things about me streaming and me not being able to see you is you guys can like go pee while you're listening to me tell these stories. So if I make you pee yourself laughing, you can actually take care of that and I'll never know. I love that. Torture devices. Yeah, so I was at work like 2 weeks ago. We had just hired the new girl. And yes, girl. And I'm standing there holding a spindle of metal. So it's like a corkscrew. I'm standing there holding a spindle of metal as I'm talking to my boss, and I was like, hey, would you mind if we started welding together like a sculpture or something? Because I think that would be really good advertisement for the company. Like, let us put together a big sculpture of like all the random bullshit parts that we screw up. Let's turn it into a horse or something like that. And so I'm swinging around this corkscrew, and he goes, do you want to make a giant duck? I knew immediately why he asked. And she had no idea. And then I looked at my boss and I held up 5 fingers and I went, well, we could do an echidna. And all of a sudden we were on the same wavelength, and so were the rest of the guys in the shop. And one of them does like a bottleneck dolphin nose with his hands and goes, we could do a porpoise. And finally, she just randomly was like, couldn't we do a person? And we lost it. Because we were talking about dong shapes. And like mimicking the animals that had the funny dongs. And then it finally hit her all at once. And she processed the corkscrew, the 5 fingers, the 2 prongs, and yeah. Needless to say, she turned a couple of different shades of red that rivaled the powder coat that we use for some of our stuff. And I was like, we probably went a little too far. The next day she comes in and goes, I had to research it to make sure you guys weren't lying. Why the hell do you know all that stuff? And I'm like, we're dudes. We like what we have, and we like to know what other people have. So, yes, at times I am very blue collar. And I am not apologizing for that at all. There's one thing that I have very much come to enjoy about being blue collar, though. The shower beer. You get home from a hard day at work. You get in the shower so it's so hot you can't feel the weld burns anymore, or much of anything. And you have an ice cold beer at the same time. I've been out of beer for like 3.5 weeks, but for a minute there, I was having one day. Now, it's a soda. Or coffee. Iced coffee. Iced coffee is very good. Which thing? The, That's awesome. Koala's fingerprints are so much like a human's that they actually fuck with the police in Sydney. Yes, ice cold. So I'm not a big fan of Red Bull. Personally, ironically, I don't like energy drinks, but one of my favorite drinks right now is actually the Black Rifle Coffee Espresso 300. And I really like that, but I only drink it when I'm gonna stream for like 4 or 5 hours, because I don't drink caffeine the way I used to. I used to like double fist 2 liters of Mountain Dew and it's not Tantrum Surge and whatnot. But yeah, ice cold drink, piping hot shower, and depending on how much you drink, which I've never gotten this drunk, but depending on how much you feel like drinking, maybe a whole Nickelback album or something sung at the top of your lungs. I don't know. Never done a Nickelback album. Not quite sure why I picked that to be my example, but actually recently I've been listening to a lot of Citizen Soldier. They just released a new song today, which is pretty powerful. It's called Burden. I highly recommend you look it up. Burden by Citizen Soldier. It's eye-opening, to say the least. So, Catty Cat, since you have ADHD as well, have you noticed that caffeine has the opposite effect for you than a normie? I personally have noticed it for myself, that if I put down just a shit ton of I put down like a shit ton of caffeine and I'm just like mellowed out. Like I had a ton to drink as a normal person. Like I just mellow out. I quiet down. I chill out. It's good to go. You know, I didn't know if that was specific to me. I know it worked for my little brother who has Asperger's, or what was once Asperger's. If I gave him a Coke in the morning, super mellow all day. Just a little, like one of the little 4 or 6 ounce cans, the little teeny tiny ones. One of those, and he would just mellow out for the entire day. It was like a different kid. And now as an adult, he's like double-fisted monsters and whatnot, but he knows how to self-medicate. I appreciate that. Caffeine both makes me sleepy and makes it so I can't sleep. Yes. That's an ADHD thing. I thought it was a B12 vitamin deficiency. So, funny thing about that, I actually I get canker sores, right? So, you know, they're the cold sores on the inside of your mouth. Reminiscence of having chickenpox, basically. But I get them every once in a while. When I was little, I got them really bad, and I figured out that it was a deficiency in B vitamin and a deficiency in lysine, both of which are found in green leafy vegetables and, you know, easy to come by. And I ate a lot of that growing up. I grew up on a farm. We grew our own produce and everything. But yeah, so when I originally was diagnosed with ADHD, they said, do you take a B12 supplement? And I did at the time, and they're like, okay, you can keep taking that, but don't mix it with caffeine. Well, mixing it with caffeine made it work really well. So, like a high person, kind of sleepy, but can't sleep at all. You know, I get that. I have sleep apnea, so I wear like a fighter pilot mask to bed, and it's either I'm the deepest sleeper and you won't fucking wake me up, like I slept through the earthquake the other night, or I will sleep, or I'll stay awake through absolutely everything, including like an old John Woo film. Like it just, yeah. You couldn't keep me awake. So, yes, we had an earthquake. Geez, when was that? We had an earthquake, like, I want to say like 4 or 5 days ago. Wasn't a very big one, just a 4.7, I believe. Nothing I'm not used to. When I lived in Japan, we had all kinds of earthquakes. First time I woke up during an earthquake, my roommate was freaking his mind out, and I had no idea what was going on. I was just the building was shaking so hard that my bed wasn't moving, but everything else was. Like I was sliding across the tatami mats on my futon. And I looked at him and I went, "What?" And he goes, Jishin, earthquake." And I looked around and I'm like, "Huh, look at that." And I fell asleep before it finished. I live near a military weapons manufacturing plant. I slept through the bombs going off. When I grew up, so I grew up near NAS Fallon where they filmed Top Gun. And there was the bombing range out there, and sure enough, they would drop the bombs and it would shake everything, but I learned to sleep through them. There was an earthquake about a month ago where I live. It was a 4.0 magnitude. Yeah, I'm in southern Utah. It's actually really weird for us to get earthquakes, but we ended up having like 4 in a couple of days. The largest one was 4.7, but the epicenter was 18 kilometers down, 60 miles north. And no major structural damage or anything like that. 4.7, still pretty powerful, but it was so deep that the S waves didn't affect the surface the way they could have. And if I understand correctly, the other 3 earthquakes were aftershocks, actually. So they weren't full-blown, full magnitude events. Yeah, so the only time I have ever experienced earthquakes in the United States has been in Utah. And then we had one in Utah that actually originated in San Andreas, California. The San Andreas Fault in California. It was big enough that we felt it here. Yep, that's pretty much how it works for people who haven't been through earthquakes more than once. I'm not saying you have or haven't, but like, people are like, the fuck's going on? And then it's over and they're like, wait, was that an earthquake? But after having lived in Japan, like, we would be walking down the street and an earthquake would hit and you would just kind of like lean into it and then keep walking. It was so commonplace there that I just got really used to it. Oh, geez. New York doesn't have earthquakes all that much. I can understand, like, we're super chill right now. That's weird. Welcome, Nate. We're always chill here, by the way. I could never live where earthquakes happen all the time because my brain would scream, shake it real good. Yep. Yeah, I remember, so I lived in Sendai where the earthquake and tsunami hit in 2011. And at one point we had an 8.7 earthquake that struck. It was about a year after the tsunami. And all I remember thinking is, half of my roommates live at sea level. We should probably go warn them. And when we showed up, they were passed out, asleep. And I was like, well, you would have died comfortably, I guess. All right, let's get some more peridotite since I keep putting it away. Then I'm waiting for a natural disaster that makes me spin so I can take spin me right around, baby, right around. What if there's people who think, sweet, it's an earthquake, time to make Kool-Aid or margaritas? Just saying, you don't have to put in all that effort. It does make a difference. There we go. Peridotite rock. Wait, what did I just pick up? Peridotite. Okay. Tornado chaser. Sure. Tornado chasers. I can understand, like, wanting to have fun, be crazy, whatnot. But at some point, when it's no longer scientific, you're just like, do we really need to be doing this? I understand the thrill. I do. I really do. I appreciate it. But there's a point when I'm like, the our human hubris is going to kick our asses at some point. Yeah. Yep. 4.0 earthquakes, not all that strong, but just enough to make everybody go, wait, what? Well, you know, scientists are all they're all prim and proper until they're around other scientists, and then they go, if we disobey the laws of physics, will we be punished? Specifically to plein air paint a live tornado, and for the thrill, plein air. Outside in French. Wow. Got really, really, really bright. Oh, because the lantern on the ground was still giving us light. Let's get these out of the way. Okay, Locust Buddy, you are really, like, all of them in business. And I think we'll probably do a couple of lanterns. Sure. I've been watching tornadoes in real life since I was 8. Yeah, I watched Twister when I was like 4. And I've always found tornadoes fascinating. The first time I was ever in one was back in Virginia, in the northmost south state in the United States, I believe. There was a hurricane that came through in 2010, I want to say. Knocked out a bunch of power lines and whatnot. And then for like 4 days afterwards, there were microbursts and tornadoes everywhere. And so, yeah, I got to live through a hurricane and then tornadoes. It was fun. Oh, geez. Not to sound disparaging or anything, but you're kind of a mess. That's okay. We're all messes. In one form or another. I'm all kinds of fucked up. I don't have a good reason for it. I just am fucked up. Yeah, I don't have borderline sleep apnea. My ex-wife used to say that it sounded like I was trying to swallow the souls of children. So. Yeah. Let's see, 2017, I wouldn't have been back there, but the first time I ever saw a microburst happen, I wasn't outside in it, but it hit my dad's neighborhood in Beltsville, Maryland. And it was weird. because you just watched everything all of a sudden just pick up and then drop. It almost looked like a scene from Halo or something where the anti-gravity just shut off for a second, or the gravity just shut off for a second and everything floated up and then everything just dropped all of a sudden, except all of the like really light stuff kind of flung. It was weird. Like I saw it and it didn't compute. It was so weird. What the hell did I come over to this damn chest for? I don't recall. To be an echidna scrap welder statue would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. We'd just have to make sure it was female. If it was coming from my weld shop. Because otherwise we're going to get in trouble for that one. Do not remember what the hell I was looking for. Yes, the weather is very much otherworldly. It can be. I would love to be able to travel the solar system and see the diamond rains on Neptune and the sulfur storms on sulfuric acid storms on Venus. Like that kind of stuff would be cool to see the inside of the red storm, the hexagon storm on Jupiter's in Jupiter's atmosphere. Like that would be amazing. Okay, so grab that. And then we don't have any of that. So let's grab the walnut log. As soon as the friggin' winter is over, I'll go exploring and see if I can't find some damn bamboo. The whole reason we went out exploring was because I wanted bamboo for that. I think I knew that the koalas had two opposable thumbs. Or at least their paw was shaped funny. I may not have known exactly why. I've started to obsess with the gas giant, specifically Jupiter. I'd love to go inside the planet and just explore. I don't know if you ever watched Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda with Kevin Sorbo as Captain Dylan Hunt. But he was born on one of Jupiter's moons, and part of the reason that he was so freakishly strong was because the gravity of his home planet, the moon, I believe it was like Io or something like that. The gravity of his home moon was like 2.7 times that of Earth. So that's why he was just freakishly large and strong. Not like superhumanly strong, but I would say exohumanly strong. Andromeda was one of my favorites. Let's see. Most people don't know the thumbs. Space sounds scary if you can even hear anything out there anyway. Yeah, I like space. I'd much rather die in space than in the ocean. So, did you hear about the discovery of dark oxygen? No. I know about dark matter and dark energy and the fact that they think they've actually discovered a source of it, but not dark oxygen. I haven't followed the news in like 2 or 3 months, so if it was really recent, no, I haven't heard about it. Not entirely sure what it means or does. Well, I've got this big-ass knowledge box that I'm sitting in front of. Hold up. Evidence of dark oxygen production at the abyssal seafloor. Yeah. deep sea floor organisms consume oxygen, which can be measured in the cytobenthic chamber experiments. Here we report such experiments at the polymetallic nodule covered abyssal seafloor in the Pacific Ocean, which oxygen increases over 2 days to more than 3 times the background concentration, which from ex situ incubations we attribute to the polymetallic nodules. Given high voltage potentials, holy shit, that is cool. So on the seafloor, there appears to be aerobic respirance and oxidation of reduced inorganic compounds. So literally, the seafloor is generating oxygen with electrical currents and a couple of dissolved inorganic compounds like ammonium and non-organic carbon, which is kind of a weird statement to say out loud. Clarion-Clipperton zone. Sediment. That's really cool. I really keep up the news. Dark oxygen is a phenomenon that happens in the deep ocean, so there's natural geological batteries that cause the water to be separated into oxygen on the ocean floor. That would mean that it's either absorbing the hydrogen or producing hydrogen gas that's being dissolved back into the water. I've read about people who had near-death experiences with drowning. They said it was the most beautiful, calming experience they've ever had until they promptly rescued and resuscitated. Nice. And this discovery has upended the earliest theories about how life evolved on Earth. That's honestly really pretty. So it may be that the deep ocean is the origin of all life, not the upper areas that were previously theorized. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if... I'm not religious. I don't hold to the idea of creationism. The primordial ooze makes a great deal of sense to me as the origin of all things. Because of, the dark oxygen makes the primordial ooze much more feasible. So, yes, Cthulhu. I wouldn't mind a Cthulian reality, or like Dagon, or any of the mad gods. I think those would be actually quite cool and make more sense than Jesus and Elohim. Actually, I get into philosophical and religious conversations with my teachers and my coworkers way more often than HR would like. But I'm a superstitious person. Not a part of any religion, but I do believe they each hold some truth. Well, I believe that there's a lot of truth in the world, which is why people are able to... So one of the first things they teach you when you're a charlatan or a magician is that you conceal just enough truth in your words that people don't question the lies when they come up. And religion kind of fits that bill, I believe. There's just enough truth that's common in human nature, like morality and things like that. People don't bat an eye when their God says go and kill everybody who doesn't believe what you do. I think the closest I've ever gotten to actually dying was bleeding out when I broke my leg. But I woke up in the hospital, so actually, I didn't even pass out, which the paramedic said that was weird. We're not sure how you did that. And I'm like, I'm a fat ass 13-year-old. That's how I didn't do that. Whew. Falling into the ocean is not particularly scary. It's when you look down and you realize just how massive the ocean really is. I was deep sea fishing with some family friends back east, and I leaned a little too far off the boat and we hit a swell, and I got launched like 15 or 20 feet straight up, and the boat was not there when I came back down, and it was right after dusk, so there wasn't a lot of light or anything. So I hit the water face down, and I saw this glow, and I was like, hey, that I'm not religious. I am an atheist. I was raised Mormon, but found my own way. But yeah, so I fell into the water face down. We weren't too far out to sea. We could see land at least. And when I landed face down, I saw this glow beneath me, and the first thing that came to my mind was that old movie, The Abyss, where they had the like alien manta rays under the in the Marianas Trench or whatever. And so I was like, man, I'm seeing things. I hit my head, something. So I didn't tell anybody when I first got back in the boat. And then finally I was like, hey, something was glowing. And one of the guys goes, oh, yeah, you're fine. And I was like, what was it? And he goes, do you really want to know? I was like, yeah. And he's like, those were jellyfish. And then it occurred to me how much glowing there was. I was like, how did I not get stung? And he's like, I don't know. I totally expected you to be screaming when we got you back in the boat. Jellyfish. Jellyfish glow. They're bioluminescent. They glow at night and when they're pissed off. I like jellyfish too. I've only ever been stung by one once, and it wasn't that bad. Turns out being a redhead has its perks. Having a natural affinity or a natural resistance to venoms and toxins. It's a thing. I had to look it up because I didn't believe it. It sounded made up. But sure enough. Yeah. I'm bald, but I'm bald, but I have a red beard. So. It's entirely possible that it was a normal light. Damn, you're a natural, what do they call that? Irish beauty? Red hair, green eyes, albino skin. What was I doing? That's right. I emptied my inventory so I could pick up all the rocks. Let's get the stones. Okay, and then... Yeah, we might build the portcullis out just a little more, and then put like a gate here, because typically they had the defensive structure was outside of the actual wooden, very destroyable and flammable gate. I get told that I look exotic a lot. Not sure why, because I'm white, though I'm told I have this alien aura to me. No, that's fair. Although, you know, it does seem to be like this typical view that people have when it comes to even like, you know, races like the Irish and whatnot. They're like, oh, I expect this out of it. So if you're anything 15 degrees off normal or typical or expectation, you can be called exotic or something similar. I always got called a freak, but whatever. Yeah, let's grab that. Got called All-American Boy, and that's pretty much all I am anyway. There you go. Yes, I do know Irish people aren't white. Actually, here's something funny for you. Did you know that back in times of slavery, Irish people were called colored? I was doing some genealogical research and found some marriage certificates for Irish people and like Irish people to white marriages. And sure enough, the Irish was called a person of colored origin, and the white person was, you know, boring, white, vanilla, however you want to say it. I'm usually way off normal. LMAO. Yes, I'm half not white. I wish I was joking on the dog part, but I missed a comment. Huh? Yeah, my great grandmother dealt with a lot of racism and prejudice as an Irish. I think she was the first descendant of an immigrant family too, so she was second generation, I think, if I remember that correct. And if you want to also have fun, realize that Ireland was the first country colonized by the British. Yeah, we pretty much established that the British are responsible for a lot of expansion. Although I do find it funny. One of my favorite jokes to say is the British Empire spent hundreds of years dominating the world in the name of spices, and they don't use any of it in their cooking. Not gonna lie, English food is some of the worst food I've ever had. Don't get me wrong, I've eaten all kinds of things. I've had scorpions, I've had spiders, I've had live octopus, like all kinds of stuff. And I would take all of it over British English food. What's that? Right, I don't know how the numbers work. Fun fact: when the Romans colonized Britain, they called them cannibalistic savages. Not surprising at all. And 1/4 British, and I hate it. Yep. Yeah, there are some things like real honest to God haggis I've had once. And that's some of the best food I've ever had. Like Scottish food is amazing. I've had some Irish dishes, and I know that a lot of people are like, well, it's the United Kingdoms, it's all the same. No, it fucking isn't. Because if I go into a Scottish pub and I ask for a whiskey, I'm going to get something entirely different than I would if I walked into an English pub, a British pub. You know, if it's... No, sorry, Nate. I am not religious at all. You might consider me spiritual, but I am not religious. I was raised religious, and then found my own way. Yes. The Scots culture in general is very underrated. I agree. Sorry, I'm a little what's the word in English? In Japanese it's bada bada. Scatterbrained. Bada bada means in pieces. So if I don't answer you immediately, just keep asking. Sorry. Fish and chips is Portuguese. That makes an incredible amount of sense. I might steal a bit of Scott culture to use in my creative works. Nothing wrong with that. My favorite quote, an Irish comedian got told, "You colonized us. You're British." And the comedian replied, "No, we are not. Do you have any idea how many wars we fought over this?" That's so true. I always find it funny. People were talking about, like, William Wallace and a lot of the civil wars, because I mean, really, that was more a civil war than anything that happened in the. Is it considered the Eastern? It's not the Eastern world. It's the Western world, isn't it? Britain, the United Kingdom. And I was like, what? Ferguson, Mike Ferguson. Is it Mike Ferguson? What he says about the whole William Wallace thing. He's like in Braveheart, they show William Wallace sleeping with that one French lady, and I'm not saying he didn't, but at the time of that, she was 4 years old. Craig Ferguson, thank you, Craig Ferguson. How the fuck did I get Mike? I don't know. Yeah, Nate. So, I can appreciate that standpoint. I have actually been kicked out of groups of nihilists because I didn't believe in enough. And I really wish I was joking about that. But yeah, so spirituality versus religiousness. I would say spirituality is being naturally in tune with. I'm not saying like hippie in tune with the world around you, but kind of that idea. You're in tune with the nature around you, the nature of the world, the way that people work, and the way that things move and grow and learn and feel, and realizing that you're a smaller part of a much greater whole. That would be kind of a really, really basic way of explaining spirituality, I think. But it also takes on any forms, that that people want it to take. It doesn't have to have a structure. That's why it's not religion. So I've been kicked out of spaces for not believing enough. Doesn't help that they were being ableist to me. Yeah, so ableism is a weird thing for me. Like, I can appreciate to a certain extent, like a mindset that, hey, probably not a good idea for you to do that. But at the same time going, no, you can't just because, that's twisted. That's weird. That's wrong. So, yeah. Being Irish. Superstitious. Yeah. There's another comedian, Dara O'Brien. He says, "I'm not religious or anything. I just I'm Irish. I don't believe in God or anything. And my family has never been much for going to church, but so we're Catholic or Catholic, however he says it." And I laugh my ass off because I actually know a couple of families that are like, yeah, we're not religious, but we're Catholic because we're Irish. I was like, I didn't think that was actually a thing, but I guess it is. Oh, there we go. This. And now we just need stairs. Right? I mostly get told I'm making it up or being made fun of for not being able to do most things. Ableism, yes. Ableism is a very tricky subject because on one hand, and if I'm wrong on this, tell me I'm wrong, please. But on one hand, you have people that legitimately can't do certain things. And so acknowledging that is not ableism. But on the other hand, telling somebody that they absolutely have no chance in hell of attaining something, doing something that is within their power just because they have a disability is ableism. That is truly like wrong. For instance, I work as a welder, right? I know a couple of guys who are missing hands and they're fucking phenomenal welders. I don't know. I live in America around average white people, but I see a lot of people who believe in Christianity but don't practice it. That's weird. I agree, Nate. Absolutely, hands down. Like, that's totally weird. But I would say I had people in my church growing up. Like I said, I grew up Mormon. They profess to be Christians, couch Christians. That's funny. They profess to be Christians, and one of my favorite quotes about that was always, "Going to church makes you a Christian as much as standing in a garage makes you a car." So I kind of maintain that mindset that there's more to it than just, yeah, I go to church, I believe in the Pope and whatever. There we go. And then these are my silver ones. Yep, keep those. Mormonism terrifies me. It's not so scary. Really? It's just they're really devout. Like, the ones who are devout are blind and stupidly devout. And I can say that wholeheartedly, having been one of them. I served a mission. I got sealed to my ex-wife in the temple. Like, we did everything we were supposed to do. And then I left. I removed my name from the records, and I've been watching someone who left the Mormon church and debunked it on their YouTube. Yeah. So when I decided to leave, I decided that I was going to do my research, but I wasn't going to do any research outside of the church. I was going to use their own documentation to understand it. And I didn't take anybody with me. Like, I didn't influence anybody else to leave the church with me or anything like that. Even my ex-wife, when I told her that I was leaving the church, she was like, "That's fine. That's not my choice. And it was a couple of years before she finally decided, you know what, I need to evaluate this myself, and she did, and she decided it wasn't for her. Yeah, yeah, it's a cult. All religions are. It's just that, they tell those people that they can't call it a cult. That's all that is. So, wrong one. This one. There are theories that the dietary laws of Judaism originate from early form of hygiene, hence why it makes detrivores and scavengers not allowed to eat. That makes sense. And actually, yeah, so it's been long known that things like pigs, if they're prepared incorrectly, they have some pretty detrimental parasites and whatnot. And it would make sense that the primitive world would know that. The people who were eating the pork would tend to die. So why not make it not proper to eat it? So anyway, I decided I was going to do my research inside the church. I wasn't going to allow outside influence to influence my decision. Yes, religion is a cult with franchises. And so I used only the documentation provided by the church for all of my informational purposes, and I was able to ascertain my viewpoint from within that documentation. And once I had left, I decided to read what other people would say about it. And yeah, I like seafood too much. I couldn't be a Jew. That's totally going to be bad if it's taken out of context. But I mean, I'm Jewish. I've got Jewish in me. Black Jews, actually. I just like learning about people's beliefs. Sometimes it's hard because people are crazy about it, though. That's true. People tend to be. I don't find a lot of religious individuals who are willing to discuss their religion without, I don't know, trying to convert you immediately. It's like, as soon as they have to talk about their religion, they have to get you on their side, because otherwise it's completely invalid and whatever. And I was never like that. I always really liked hearing what other people thought, what other people believed, getting to know how people thought about the world around them. It's, I don't know, cathartic, inspiring. It's cool. I like religion as a source of study for psychology. I was going to be a psychologist for a while, so. I do believe in God, but I see it as a trickster and evil God, given how psychopathic and narcissistic it behaves. Honestly, I would believe more wholeheartedly in a God if he, she, it, they, them was more narcissistic and capricious. Because then at least the old gods like Zeus and Hera and whatnot, then they would make more sense. Theremin Trees does an excellent video debunking Christianity and explaining how evil God truly is, which sealed the manic theory that I had back in the back of my head that God is evil. Hell yes, Black Jews, let's go. I'm also Jewish, but not really, because I don't practice it and I've never been given the chance anyway, so it doesn't matter. So yes, I have Ashkenazi Jewish in my bloodline. Not practicing, religiously. But I actually have Jewish in my bloodline. Ashkenazi Jews originated from Nigeria. The Nigerians moved north into the Middle East and like Jerusalem and stuff, and intermingled or whatever, crossbred, and we ended up with Ashkenazi Jewish. I don't know. I'm as Jewish as I'm German anyway, so I support it. Yeah. And, you know, seeing as my complexion is this, nobody believes me that my bloodline goes back to Nigeria. But I don't really care one way or the other. And, you know, it's not like I play my end card privilege or anything like that. But I got more white on me than rice and a glass of milk on a paper plate in a blizzard. Like, I'm so white that if I look at the sun wrong, I get third-degree burns. Actually, I've gotten second-degree burns from the sun quite a lot in my life. Skin cancer is just tick-tock, tick-tock waiting for me. There you go. You've gotta find your own truth. However that has to happen. Truth is subjective. Very subjective. There are laws, and then there's truth. Laws are things like gravity. Truth is your perception of the world around you and how it connects to your existence. So somebody might think, I want to be a vegan. You're fucking wrong, but you want to be a vegan. Good for you. That's your truth. Yeah, there are a bunch of versions of the Bible. The King James Version is interesting. I've read the original translation of Dead Sea Scrolls. I've read the Apocrypha. Lots of different things, and I kind of just get tired of all of it. In general, as much as I would love to say the Bible is the Word of God, unfortunately, it was written by man. So every spelling mistake, every minor inconsistency is just indicative of the fallibility of man, if there is a God behind all of it. I've had many an argument on the version of the Bible, and I was likewise raised in a Christian home. I was watching a video on how to make creepy OCs. They said to give it a purpley pink blue fair skin because it makes veins pop and is reminiscent of corpses, the sick. That's my exact skin color. Yep. Dude, that's the thing. I have native ancestry. I don't remember the natives, though. But you can't tell because I'm white, German, Jewish, and Irish in there somewhere. Dude, I totally understand that. So, growing up, I was actually told that we had Native American, Blackfoot, Indian in my blood. Come to find out, Grandma wasn't Grandma. So, yeah, no Native in me. But my skin color is of the sick corpses. I legit fell asleep in high school and people thought I died because of how pale I am. That's funny. I am fairly pale. I'm tanning out quite a bit now that I weld for a living, because I'm constantly in the welding arc. The first probably 2 weeks of class, I had this constant sunburn right under my Adam's apple, because it was the only part of my body that wasn't covered by my shirt and was just underneath my hood. So it would I had this perfect triangular sunburn there. And then my first week on the job, I just had horrible sunburns up my arms. And then surprisingly, I started tanning. For me, I mean, this is about as tan as I get. Otherwise, I'm that kind of white. And I don't know. Not going to argue with it too much. Oh my god, this is starting to look like a home. And what, it only took us 60 hours to get here? Oh yeah, and that's another thing. Get up on my societal soapbox for a second. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in a god. However, I'll say, I swear to God, and for the love of God, and God damn it, and things like that. And it always makes some of my friends crack up. Well, the friends I used to have. They're like, you don't believe in God. Why do you say that? And I'm like, because it's societally acceptable and it pisses people off. I guess if I was sick growing up, or if they'd be mean about it and they get a tan. The worst part is when I tan, I turn a purpley greenish gray color. One summer I did tan that gray color and he got more concerned comments. I can't win. At this point, everybody has a part of everything in them, and it doesn't help that I'm an American when you have people from just about anywhere and everywhere. Amen. Yep. Vernacular does not equal religion. All right, so I got that ish kind of done. Oh, we can do this one. Put my nuts down. And by that, I mean my walnut boards. Talking about my wood here, people. Atheists be like, I swear on the imperialistic studies. Exactly. Well, and so, like, you know, it's turn a phrase, common saying, and I'm not going to change what I'm saying because the basis of communication is an agreed upon vocabulary. That's one of the first rules of linguistics. So, in order to communicate with anybody, you have to agree upon the words being used and their definitions. So, if I say, for the love of God, you understand I'm frustrated. It's obviously a tamed down version of me just going, oh, for fuck's sake. But it still pisses people off, which I very much like. Because honestly, if I can offend somebody, I know pretty quickly they're not worth my time and or effort. Because if you let somebody offend you, you give them control over your mental and emotional state, which is, for the love of dingus. When I was going to school growing up, we had this dumbass saying that I still don't fucking know where it came from. I'm not sure who came up with it, but I was the one who tried to drive that shit into the ground because it just pissed me off so much. We would say panatanda. It's a cross between a panda and a manatee. Not sure where the fuck it came from, but it was something that we said. And so I made sure to use it reductio ad absurdum to piss off everybody who was in on the joke. Words just changed. Gay used to mean happy, and now means like another man. Sexual. I don't have anything against gay people. Oh, no. I totally understand. It's a great example, though. I know I'm probably going to get docked for saying this one on stream, but I grew up with the word faggot. Like, it wasn't a gay kid. It wasn't like the little gay boy or something like that. It wasn't derogatory like that. It was just, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, quit being like that. Sort of the early New Jersey adaptation of the word when it switched from meaning a bundle of sticks, which it still does, in Europe. But, like, yeah. So, do I need to bring up the other day with 7 languages in one paragraph? Please don't. That like gave me cancer. Yes. Like the Cinderella one, fairy godmother, dance, be gay, be happy. I was trying to remember there was another Disney song the other day that somebody said, oh, the what the hell is that song from? I feel pretty, oh so pretty and witty and gay. Sound of Music, isn't it? Sound of Music? Yeah. And so, like, but I also grew up with, I was called a retard growing up because I was friends with all of the special ed kids. I was kind of friends with everybody. So, yeah. Disney in general just sucks anymore, but yeah, I grew up with, everybody called me a retard. And I was in the gifted program, the GATE, was it called GATE, Gifted and Talented Education, which basically meant I was bored out of my fucking skull in 3rd grade. I Feel Pretty is from West Side Story. Thank you. Which I haven't seen in like 18 years. Spaz. Spick and span. I didn't realize that those were racist terms until much later in life. Like, you know, all these things that we grew up with, which meant one thing and now they mean something entirely different. And granted, you know, they were always, they were always, that, you make a good point, Nate. Like, the older words have their older meanings, and you've got, as much as we have to adapt to the new words now, we have to understand that their origins were different. You didn't know those words were racist until now? Well, like, gook. I didn't know that that was racist against Korean people. I thought it meant you were creepy. Oh, I didn't know Guinea either. I've also never used that as a racist term. But growing up, I also didn't really consider the N-word a racist term. It was just like, oh, we're talking about that period in time. Like, whatever. It wasn't, oh no, now we must apologize for everything white people have ever done to black people when black people started it. Just saying. Although, I do find it funny that some of the first slave owners in the world were black people. Yeah, that's one I didn't know. Gypsy. I didn't know gypsy was a bad term because I grew up with, like, the Hunchback of Notre Dame and I learned a lot about gypsy culture and things like that. I didn't realize that it was, like, super racist to call somebody gypsy. I also... Oh. Got it. Yeah, no, that's a weird one too. Anyway, as I was saying, some of the first slave owners in the world were black people. And ironically, the whitest black people in Egypt were some of the most prolific slave owners in the world for decades, centuries even. But wasn't Jippo the more racist version? I've heard. But yeah, like calling somebody a gypsy, I learned recently, within the last 10 or 15 years, that like gypsy was a derogatory term, even though it was just the name of a people. It's kind of like, if I understand correctly, and I might not, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of like calling somebody granola nowadays in the Western world. Like it was just kind of that idea that they were weird. I know Egyptians don't consider themselves black. And what would you say? Relativistically, they weren't. Gypsies wasn't their name? That's right. They were like Romanian or something like that. Right? Gypsies was the term used originally because it was thought people were Egyptian. That's starting to sound familiar. They were really Romani. Remember the whole Cleopatra dock scandal? Which one? I can't remember. It sounds familiar, but I don't. Yes. Sorry, I think I know what you're talking about, but put it in the chat for everybody. I don't know. I still hear gay being used as an insult, and no one got crazy about it, so. Well, yeah, like, I mean, I still hear it as an insult, especially in the millennial generation and older millennials. Like, don't be gay. Like, I hear that all the time. But I don't really use it that way. Netflix was going to have a black Cleopatra and all of Egypt got up in arms about it. That's right. I do remember that. Well, you know, now that this stream is officially unmonetizable, probably going to get in trouble for it, but we are discussing linguistics, which I think is an appropriate use of an educational stream. Yeah. Cleopatra was half Greek, I'm pretty sure, if not completely Greek. Yeah, okay. So she was Greek completely. But full Greek. Okay. Oh, hell. What was I? You guys distracted me. Supposed to be in the middle of a stream, and we're in the middle of a geopolitical debate. Not even. We're kind of all on the same team. I needed more of those. That's what it was. Thanks, Nate. I appreciate it. And now what the hell was I coming back for? Third white ashlar blocks. Let's grab that and some of those. And do I have any mortar in my inventory? I don't. I think I still have a ton of mortar. Grab 4 more stacks of that. Ptolemaic dynasty. Okay, thank you. I still don't know the difference between Romans and Greeks. Very educational. I'm learning a lot. Romans are Italians. Greeks are in Greece. Although the founders of Rome came from Greece, yes. I know the difference in modern times. It's mainly their history I get tripped up on. It's easy to remember once you get the names right in your head. And the mythology is super easy to keep them. Okay. The mythology is easy to keep straight too. At least for me, I really do enjoy mythology. So I remember Romulus and Remus versus the Titans and whatnot. That all makes sense to me. Yes. So Rome, Italy, and the Vatican, all part of the ancient Roman Empire. I don't like that I can't walk through it until it's completely open and static. But I digress. This should be the last day of winter. Though winter might last a few more days into the next year, into the next month. And then West Rome was Spain, Italy, and such. Yes, Rome pretty much owned the world for the Roman Empire was 400 and some odd years old, or was it longer than that? Can't remember. Making a living Greek statue character named Jupiter, so it's super neat to hear this being discussed. Sweet. Well, yes, there was eventually a division in the empire, but there was one empire. Yes, the division happened when oh my god. Oh, my social studies teacher would kill me for getting this wrong. One of the emperors died. I want to say it was the one right after Nero, but it might have been Nero, and his two sons were just a bunch of dickheads, and they decided to split the empire. Yes. Okay. So Rome was longer than that, but I'm trying to remember because there was a democracy other than America that lasted about 415 years. And I wanted to say it was Rome, but it might have been Greece. And it was like the longest lived democracy, true democracy, in existence. But Nero's death was long before the split of the empire. Okay, so it wasn't Nero. It was. I'm really rusty on my Roman history, which is weird because I studied the hell out of it when I was in elementary school and middle school. I was always fascinated with the Roman Empire. I'm getting into making ancient wax tablets from Greece. Super neat how they came up with the tech. It's essentially a notebook. My character will also have a wax tablet. Yeah, the wax tablets were kind of cool. I can never remember what kind of wax they ended up using. I thought it was beeswax originally, but it's actually like more tempered than that, so that it doesn't melt in the Mediterranean temperatures. So mammoths were still around for a while after the pyramids of Giza were built. Yes, that I did know. Cleopatra was alive closer to now than she was to the pyramids being built. I knew that. Oh, fuck. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with the ceilings. Like, I like what I've got going on the floors with the baseboards and whatnot. I like that. I think it's looking pretty snazzy, but Constantine was the emperor at the split of the empire. Okay. The name is sounding familiar. Now I'm remembering. Thank you for jogging my memory. Did you know that the wax is why the Greek alphabet has few to no curves and is such a sharp angled font? That makes sense. It was basically an adapted form of cuneiform. It just used more actual symbols than pictographs. You can temper chocolate rapidly heating and cooling it. I wonder if they did something similar with the beeswax. It's possible. I used to temper chocolate all the time. I was on a competitive cooking team for a few years, actually. And we used to temper the chocolate before we would make candies for our fundraisers and stuff. I'm out of my depth because I don't study this stuff. I'm one of those World War I nerds, but I'm not crazy about it because I don't spend every day learning about uniforms and names of officers. It's totally fine, dude. Like, I'm not quite there yet either. I have the propensity to, but I'm probably not gonna. I don't like modern times. Other than modern history, other than modern medicine and toilet paper, I could probably live any other time in the world. And I probably would. No, I definitely would. But specifically, I would love to see China before the unification. Like, that would be amazing to visit with the Persian Emperor Hammurabi. No, Hammurabi wasn't Persian. He was Xerxes. Xerxes was the emperor of Persia, wasn't he? King Xerxes. I think it'd be really fun to go back in history. I love history in general. A lot of videos keep myself forgetting too much, so chess isn't even the original strategy game like it purports. No, chess isn't the original strategy game. There was shogi before there was chess, which was adapted from that Indian game, which I can never remember what the hell it was called. Hounds and Jackals was, I guess, a strategy game. It was the first tabletop RPG, basically. You just had fixed characters. I have asthma and I'm well aware I'd be dead in any other time period. Oh, I would have died in childbirth. My mom had an emergency C-section. We both would have died in childbirth if we didn't have modern medicine. So Xerxes was a Babylonian king. Yeah, I've always been fascinated by Persian culture and whatnot. I actually started learning Persian not too long ago. Nope, never going back. That's totally fine. You definitely don't need to. Well, so here's the funny part about time travel. If you go back in time, everybody dies. If you go forward in time, you die because of how the bacteria in your body works. Bacteria in your body is constantly learning and adapting. And something that wouldn't kill you today would have killed you 10 years ago if you hadn't built up the... Hammurabi was the Babylonian. Okay, and Xerxes was Persian. Thank you. The way bacteria works in your body, if something that infected you today, that got into your food today, would kill you 10 years ago. And something that is in your system today would kill everybody 10 years ago. Something that's in your system today would get you killed 10 years from now. So, like, time travel is this great concept until you consider that there's so much more that goes into it than just figuring out how to fucking time travel. All right, so we've got the baseboards here. Let's do the baseboards over here. I know. Riveting conversation, and I'm doing interior design. Very Bowls are all empty. Guess what we're moving? To be exact. Thank you. It's been a minute since I've actually been delving into the history books. I used to love history. Then I realized I really didn't give a shit about the future, so there's no point in, learning about the past anymore. Bacterial interior design. There you go. Interior design is the bestest design. Yeah, my feng shui is like really bad. So this is about as good as you're going to get from me. This is probably the most creative and pretty I've ever made anything. Because I have all of the interior design of a fungus. I'm really good at digesting other people's shit, but I'm really bad at coming up with my own. But, yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it. Haven't heard that song in a long time. Although, I could say that interior design is the bestest design as well because it involves not being outside with you, people. Well, that was anticlimactic. My family lost a scary amount of its cultural heritage due to Americanization. It's amazing how many cultures we have lost as a result. Cultures are dying just in general. If you're not constantly thinking about preservation, they're going away. I mean, the design thing I've done that I'm proud of is that ancient Norse church. So don't knock taking other people's ideas. I won't. You should really get this game and recreate that stave church in Vintage Story. For not even speaking of which, I'm currently working on a speculative Evo project. Sentient bacteria that later become a zombie infection. Ooh. I like it. The best interior design is the friends we made along the way. Oh my god. Oh. I feel the cringe cancer right at the base of my skull. Oh. But I enjoy the sentiment. I'm holding myself back from info dumping my bacteria. You don't have to hold back. Everybody's talking at this point. I hate to phrase it this way, but I'm devoting so much to reconnecting to those buried roots. I understand the sentiment. That's an interesting choice of words. I do fashion and interior design as a hobby. I do fashion and interior design as a coping mechanism right now, apparently. I'm enjoying having people to talk to, and so I'm just I'm stimming. That's what it is. My love for history and mythology have fueled that desire so much. Good for you, man. I hope you're able to find and, reconnect with that heritage. If nothing else, that you're completely able to not necessarily preserve your way of life, but like appreciate it for what it was, where you've come from, what it ends up being, whatever that is. holding back from not letting out my bacteria all over you guys. Me too. Okay. Yeah, I just got weird. Not really. I can't. It's 3 generations of my past, and I have no means to find any of them. Yeah. That's certainly a detriment to the way our records have been kept up to this point. So I was reading something the other day that said our latest estimates, which is not true anymore. Our latest estimates put human civilization at being about 200,000 years old, which we've actually found proof of art that's about 310,000 years old now. So 200,000 years. And we have only been keeping records for a little over 5,000 of those years, which means 95% of human history has been completely forgotten or lost at this point. And that was before the 310,000 year discovery of the handprints in Nepal. So I doubt I'll ever get to learn the languages of my ancestors, but I'll be damned if my descendants won't learn them. That's a good mindset. Hope isn't lost yet on those cultures, but some of them, they're gone. But there's still hope. There's always hope. And yes, I know it's very ironic that I'm saying that, but I understand that sentiment more than you know, Nate. It'll be quick. Oh, that's 4. Okay. There's that. That'll work. 1 liter of honey and 4 bottles. Haha, sucks to be you. Bacteria message. Have you read the bacteria message yet? What bacteria message? Where did I miss one? I'm gonna say Bazinga Drifter. Yes. Bazinga. Did I have my did I get my cooking pots up here yet? No. Got those down there. You know, thinking about it on the side, a tower defense for Vintage Story would be amazing. That would be pretty cool. But do you have mobs able to destroy things, or what's the white liquid? Actually, don't tell me. On which thing? This? This is not liquid. This is high polished granite. And actually, I did mean to take it up. Originally, I had the kitchen centered. I had all of this stuff centered in the middle. But it was getting kind of distracting, and it was not very efficient use of the space. So this is super high polished granite. Basically, it's from the Lithocraft mod. If you take a piece of granite and you put it there, and you get your chisel and hammer, it makes normal polished granite. But if you put it in this way, you get the high polished granite. It was super pretty. I like the block, but it's not very practical. So it does kind of look like Mother of Pearl, which is one of the reasons that I really do like it. But it didn't really fit in the space the way I wanted it to. So absolutely. Well, and then you notice the floor in the in the armory is the peridotite with the granite on the outside. My bacteria are named Mortis Aculavos. They're a sapient capable of higher intellect and reasoning. There'll be an empty war over ethics of the infection. No, we can't kill it. It's sentient. Fuck that. Kill them all. Headshots. Double tap. They wanted to communicate. They'd stop eating people. I mean, you know, zombies are one thing, but just food for thought means something entirely different to them. I'm definitely going to do something else with those floors. Let's see. So the infection will be debating each other. The infection. Funny. So are they going to start are the bacteria going to put people on trial for ending the infected? That'd be funny as hell. Like a B movie kind of twist on the zombie infection. Except instead of Jerry Seinfeld, we could have, I don't know, somebody worth watching. I'm not a big fan of Jerry Seinfeld. I have nothing against him personally, but his brand of humor is not for me. All right, let's see. Now I don't remember. Hold up. I must have Jerry Seinfeld. Need to know the deal with airline food. The infection won't be able to die due to the bacteria piloting the bodies in the most efficient way possible, etc. So that is super funny. I'm glad I could come up with something. Oh, so bottle racks? No. Vertical rack? No. I'll get together my list of mods. I'm explaining your most recent video. Heard it has lots of plot and lore. Oh, That's Pretty Girl Pop Match. It's basically Bejeweled with pretty anime girls, and they comment, and there's supposed to be a storyline. It doesn't have a lot of plot or lore really involved with it. It's just I was making fun of the fact that it was Bejeweled with Tiggle anime biddies. At least one set of. Okay, so there really aren't, and I guess I'm just high, because I swear that there's supposed to be a barrel rack. Metal barrels, no. Decorative barrels, no. Their hands are their brain. That's funny. No lore, you dare speak ill of the jewel gods? Well, it wasn't really my cup of tea. Really? But thank you very much, Nate. You have a good night. All hail the Oak Pantheon. Okay, so I'm just crazy, and there aren't actually barrel racks anywhere. And 5.8 of 14 days. They genetically modify their other organisms as their form of tools and writing system. Their version of humanity's Stone Age, reading, modifying, and copying DNA with those hairs using a form of hyperbraille. Sorry, I'm having a hard time explaining. No, it's making sense to me, at least. And I think I'm following along for the most part. Let's go here. We'll grab one stack of 8 of those. And we'll just put those up there for later use. So I have this guy here. There is another one down here, right? Or is he really just hauling ass all over the place? Nope. He's cruising down that hallway for some reason. I swear. I thought there was 2 of them. We can go get another one. It wouldn't be hard. But, alright, so don't have any more of those. That was part of my problem. In order to get those, we needed like that. That makes sense. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I am getting tired. Who am I kidding? I'm not getting tired. I'm exhausted. And I should probably go to bed. While I don't really need to be up for school tomorrow, I probably should be a functional member of society. But it's just so fun. I don't want to stop. Do I like that? Actually, yeah, I kind of do. Move that so that it's the same as the other side, like that. So the stability to modify their own DNA gives them a huge advantage. They can adapt and evolve much quicker than most animals, being able to steal their DNA and implant it into themselves. Oh, so they're sort of like I created a creature in Dungeons and Dragons. Called them I called them masked daemons. And they're basically a mask that could leech an ability out of a creature, and if it killed that creature with that leech ability, it got to permanently keep their ability. So you could pretty much have a couple of creatures get sucked up by this thing, and it would have the abilities of like the Tarask and Hobgoblin and Balor and whatnot, and you could basically squish together whatever you wanted, and it could have the movement abilities of those monsters as well as some of their resistances and things like that. It was super overpowered for like everything, but it worked out to be a really interesting monster because I could mold it however I needed to at a moment's notice. I just went through a spree of research into gods for D&D. Their species has existed for 5 billion years. The normal lifespan is 200 to 25,000 years, so they can replicate their organic material, giving them artificial immortality. Nice. Okay, so this room is a cellar, right? If you notice, these better crates, I have the two-sided ones, so we can see them on both sides. They are not airtight. There is no way for them to be airtight. So what I did is I grabbed my handy dandy chisel and I made borders for both of these on top and on bottom. And then I used the ochrum, which I don't have in my inventory right now, but you make it by putting flax in here like this. Oakum. You make oakum, and then you right click on a chiseled block and it turns it into an airtight block. So you can specifically make rooms like this. So, and with the borders on, I can still reach the middle in order to interact with the barrel. So, we got the smokers down here. Got the vat of who knows what. Not quite sure why that placed down. This should have this juniper juice. Where the hell's the one with blood? Is it this one? No, that's juniper wine. None of you are helpful. Oh, there it is. The vat of blood. Yes, I have lots of mods. I have too many mods. I mean, there's no such thing as too many mods, but I have a lot of mods. Speaking of, let's go back to the storage controller. By the way, that's what this mod is called. Storage controller. It allows you to link up all of your storages to like a central hub. And then, is it chest? No. Do I have any? What are these things called? Trunks. There we go. I do have a couple of them. We're going to grab all of them really quick. What do you got in you? You've got a lot of stuff. We're going to do that really quick. And then unload the ores. Where's the dandelion line? I have no idea. I honestly don't know if dandelions are a thing. It doesn't look like dandelions are a thing, surprisingly. I would figure they would have something that mundane in the game, but I guess I'm wrong. All right, go here, crack open our inventory. Did you know that microbes got introduced accidentally to the moon? That makes sense. And I'm not surprised. Leave it to the hubris of a scientist to do that. We accidentally let germs colonize the moon. That's awesome. Also, making a spaceship for bacteria requires far fewer resources than a human. That's kind of cool. Okay, let's eat. Fish time. A lot of fish. What else was it? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, that took forever. I just want to move all the ores into the smeltery. And I just about fell asleep staring at my computer. Ores? Where the fuck are you located? Wait a second. Wait a second. That might be a really dumb idea. Yes, because in the United States we wash the eggs off. They no longer have the protective amniotic seal on them that normal chickens have when they pop out the eggs. You don't have to refrigerate eggs if you don't wash them. They'll actually stay good for about 4 weeks or longer sometimes. But raw eggs in the United Kingdoms versus the United States have also not been exposed to the salmonella virus, so you don't have to worry about getting salmonella from raw eggs. Yeah, same thing in Japan. I used to eat gyudon all the time with namatamago dip, so raw egg dip, and oh, they have stronger vaccines. That I did not see coming. But yeah, the refrigeration thing. I grew up, like I said, on a farm, and my grandparents, we used to collect eggs. And by the way, green eggs are a real thing, just so you know. But we'd get the eggs, and as long as you didn't wash them, they were safe they're hermetically sealed, basically. So also, unwashed eggs can last years if preserved in a salt brine. I think I knew that. I've never done it though. I know how to make piton 1,000-year duck eggs. Those were actually really good in Japan. People thought it was weird that I liked them because I was white, but you are not boring us at all, Catty Cat. I am happy to hear it. Yeah, there were laws that were proposed to do the same vaccination in the United States, but they got shot down. Of course they did, because it's not cost effective to keep people safe. The healthcare system would collapse if people were healthy, God forbid. The infection remained dormant indefinitely. The person infected can still be alive, lucid, and in control. Bacteria can puppeteer the person's body. It's all up to the Mortius's choosing. Cool. So they have like this survivability or survival instinct of a lot of lead and silver and whatnot to melt. So each one of these 2,400 units of metal. So 248. Oh, excuse me. 48 plus another 12 would be 60. And then, yes, so 7,200 metal. So grab all that and all that. And it's 2,000, 4,000. Really? Really? Gonna be like that? So 200. There's 3,000, 4,000. We need like 7,200. So that's 6,000. In order for it to be 7,200, I think it's a ridiculously weird number. 7,000, and then plus we need 200, so we need 40. Yep. 7,200, so 360 in each slot. And that's all lead. We'll do it all over again. 300, 300, 300. 43, 43, 43, 360. Just realized that that's not enough, but okay. $7,200, perfect. I've also come up with walking cities where a city is built in a zombie, floating buildings, and aurora borealis can be found on these guys through the intense magnetic field bacteria rely on for things. Imagine seeing zombies with an aurora on its head. That's kind of a cool concept. I mean, like the worms in Futurama. Interesting connection. Or the worms and germs and Osmosis Jones. That's a throwback to my youth. Honestly, that movie was after my time, but I do remember it being kind of funny. Osmosis Jones is kind of an interesting take on the human body, and it's got Bill Murray in it. You know, if somebody is listening to the stream and hasn't pulled open the chat, I sound like a douche. Like I'm all over the place with my comments. Osmosis Jones is a white blood cell that is a police officer inside of a human body, and he ends up having to counteract the anthrax virus, or a polythrax virus, basically. And it's a pretty decent movie, all things considered. I can't remember who plays Osmosis Jones, or Officer Jones, whatever. On this one, there we go. 6,000 units of lead. In which case, we'll just do 15, 30, 45, 60. How much is that? 610. Not quite enough. Of course. Of course you love the anthrax bacteria. But yeah, you'll probably get a kick out of it. And we're just not even going to worry about the silver. Like, the silver is just going to be 8,000 of that shit. Because why the hell not? And then we're going to go downstairs. Get us some charcoal. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. That's okay. You know, oftentimes I feel a little like Bob Ross. I mean, I have no artistic talent. I have autistic talent, but not artistic talent. And I feel like I'm saying, oh, it's a happy accident. A lot. One of the jokes I always used to like to fuck around with was, you know, happy little accident. And I'm like, yeah, I'm an unhappy accident, so guess we can't win them all. Actually, we should probably do 3 lumps of charcoal in each. This is going to take forever, by the way. But give me this green torch. that in there, and these will take forever. Okay, so it was who I was thinking of playing Osmosis Jones. I had Chris Rock's like voice in my head doing it, but at the same time, I was like, I can't be right on that. But yeah. So I think that's going to be where we call the stream. If you enjoyed the content, you know exactly what to do. Don't forget to subscribe so that we can all hang out again. I'll probably end up streaming tomorrow because I'm bored. But yeah. Jesus, I'm tired. Thank you very much for watching and liking. Forget not, silencers. Do not go quietly into that dark night. I would rather hear your hell than see your funeral. So reach out if you need something. I'm here. May the Arc Force be with you always. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you saying so, Catty Cat. You have a good night.